Start like they all start, and because Alan's told me this too, you were moving cars.
Washing cars in a suit, getting your tie sucked into the vacuum cleaner.
Okay, so it's worse than Ty, the vacuum cleaner. We used to have these guys called Sunshine Boys, so they were retirees. They would just do nothing but move cars for us. And I watched one guy get his tie sucked in a paper shredder, and it literally lifted off the trash can and sucked towards his neck, and we were all like, "Die!" They like unplugged the next day. So like, yeah,
Were you laughing or concerned?
all the above. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of my answers today will be all the above.
That is hilarious. I mean, the mental image of that one is right out of Office Space, right? You're thinking, here he goes. He's got the safer in one hand. The ties get sucked in. And it's starting to go to his neck. You're like, oh my God, no one's going to die.
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop.
I think this meeting's being recorded, Alan.
Oh my God.
Brace for it. So, guys, another episode coming at you, getting ready to rock and roll. We've got a great time because we have a two-parter. This is the second of the two parts. If you didn't get the first one, go back and check out Cristi Decoufle, which we're going to go figure out what we're going to title it. But I'm thinking about those titles.
Are you leaning into the sex crimes thing?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Hashtag true crime.
Hashtag true crimes. Hashtag sex crime. From sex crimes and Masonic pillars to selling real estate in Blue Ridge Street. True blue. The mountains. Come check us out because we could help you sell your house and you could get you a few extra people.
Isn't it so much more fun having people here in person?
It is.
And they brought us a nice bottle of
Oh, and who is this episode sponsored by?
Russell's Reserve.
Everybody give a cheers for that. Yo. So we have put Cristi back in the sound booth. The pillow wall.
Are we going to ask questions of Michael and compare?
Yes. So kind of like the match game, Alan. So, Alan, I heard about this great story on Match Game.
Yeah.
Let's not go there, shall we, Bob?
Come on, you can't leave the listeners hanging on that. There's probably some that don't know this.
All right, go Google the Match Game. And it was in the what?
It was a newlywed game, actually.
Newlywed game.
True.
I said that.
Where is the strangest place you've made whoopee?
Husband answers.
That'd be in the butt, Bob.
Nope. The husband answers. His answer was in the field. And then the wife comes out and she goes,
that'd be in the butt, Bob.
There we go, everybody. The newlywed game. Do.
And that was like in the 70s.
This is the 70s when they had to blow them up. Oh my God. Making Whoopee. Yeah. Which is the name of the hockey team down in Macon, Georgia.
Right, so we have a guest.
We do?
Yeah.
Nah. All right, you have a guess. This is part 2, guys. All right. So we're going to work on the title of the
Michael,
first
I
one.
just want you to know this seems to be working because we are top 5%, and we've got a huge audience in Australia,
As a matter of fact,
Canada,
and I had one of our old guests actually reach out to me because he loved the Pooper Scooper Will Milliken episode.
Is that right?
And he said, "Man, I want to get that guy."
What was it about the poop scooping episode he liked so much?
I don't know, but Troy Truin, Grow Your Small Business out of Tasmania, not just Australia, but Tasmania, which we have an open invite to go play golf and stay with him.
That's an island, right?
I've heard. And Michael says,
golf and wine.
And Michael's over there jumping around going, take me. I'm like, okay, we'll take you.
That's a long flight.
Do we have to put Cristi in the sound booth and decide if we want to bring her?
Cristi, it'd be like the reverse crocodile then, because Cristi in Australia.
All right. So guys, if you didn't check out the last episode, go check it out. It's great, but Cristi and Michael Decoufle are here. And Cristi had an incredible background where she helped root out sex trafficking, human trafficking, got to see just the worst of people and actually kept a sense of humor about it, so much so that she just had to go sell real estate in Blue Ridge, Georgia. Yeah, connect those dots. I don't know. I still don't know. But then again, I got my master's in mechanical engineering and I'm just a stupid ass Anthony. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Not-
make the same.
All right, thank you, Alan. So Michael is on the hot seat. Michael Decoufle. Now, usually I say, let's have him introduce himself, and you look at me and say, "Hey, who do we have today?" But today I don't know him as well as you do because you guys go way back.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you're old.
Yeah.
So
Michael's not nearly as old as I am.
all right. So you met him when automobiles were around, but obviously
We did it. There were cars.
All right. So why don't you introduce our guest?
Yeah, no, just one of my dearest friends, and you know, he's right up there with cousin Brad, somebody I talk to multiple times a week, and we used to work together in enterprise. We've actually worked together in franchising, so two different organizations. Somebody I respect tremendously. Just a high integrity guy. Love the way he thinks. Loves his customer service philosophy. You would too. And so it's been we've gone through a lot together. Uh,
Are we talking about me?
Well, oh yeah, you're here.
Okay.
And, yeah. So no, but Michael is somebody again going back to the integrity. Just a high integrity guy. Met him in the corporate world. He's been with 3 different corporate organizations that I can think of.
Yep.
Very successful. He can actually speak corporate and do very well in the corporate game, but he's apparently got a little bit of an entrepreneurial streak as well, which, 2 of those organizations, I think, allowed you to kind of lean into that a little bit. And where this podcast is going to end up is that he has now left the corporate world to work with his wife in a small town, and they live in the same house, and they're going to be in business together.
This is partner.
Oh, it is so wrapped around the axle. It's going to be interesting to hear about.
I can't wait to unpack all this. So, Michael, I'm so interested in the first thing is Alan says,
Did you see that?
Alan is now off. Oh, Alan's over there picking daisies. Well, Alan will be right back with us.
This bottle of Russell's is almost empty.
All right. So, again, not me.
What do you mean that?
Let's go.
You take the biggest gulp of everybody.
That was
So-
just the neck pour.
Yeah.
When you go to the neck pour and went to the bottom, I don't know.
I don't know what happened. Yeah. It wasn't me.
Mm.
Not me.
By the way, I just want to go on
Where-
record saying this is the longest I've never had Cristi say anything to me. Then you've been in the same room together.
I know. You know what?
To be polite.
It's not working.
Pillows.
She is in the down room behind the pillows. You know what? We're going to go take a picture of this on Instagram. Go
Not
check
my
me out, Chris.Lalamia. And we're going to put this on Instagram where Cristi is hiding behind the pillows. And by the way, there's so much more to do.
I feel like we're like in 3rd grade. You sunk my battleship. Yeah,
I feel like I have a fort.
I don't know if our listeners will quite get this, but I hope they do.
Pew, pew, pew. Yo, you're dead. I'm not dead. You're dead. I got you first. All right. Now back to Michael, shall we? First of all, Alan loves to say he's a good collector of people, but he surrounds himself with good and interesting people.
Life's
Yeah.
too short to surround yourself with sucky people.
Right. So I know he's been very excited about getting us all together to do this. So, Michael, you came out of school and you went corporate. And what was your first job? And what were you thinking you were going to do with that?
First job out of college. Wow. So I chased a girl in Jacksonville, Florida, and answered an ad in the paper for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And that was something I remember, the brown wrapped paper car. I was like, how do they drive? You can't see out of the windshield. Got to be my deal. And so, yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, people used to ask us that
Right?
question.
How do you see out of the car, right? But
Yeah.
that's
So
that's
you
what I did.
answered an ad in the newspaper.
Yes, can't believe that. I went to Barnes and Noble. I don't know if that place is still around.
Yeah.
Got the Sunday paper in Jacksonville, Florida, which they had. They had like probably 40 or 50 Sunday papers across the United States. And I picked Jacksonville, Florida, and yeah, that's I'll get to know Alan in a strange way.
So you go to Enterprise, but did you know the background of how good they were at finding good talent and then grooming that great talent? Did you have any idea what that was? Or was it just, hey, seems like a gig I could do?
Yeah, so good. Fantastic question. I didn't realize it till like the first 3 interview questions. And I realized I'm not on spring break here. I'm actually getting a job. And with some highly skilled, highly competitive, qualified people. And I'm like, okay, I think this is my home. Yeah, it was just kind of that deal.
So you saw that challenge and you went,
Oh,
yeah.
right off the bat.
And you went, I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? You want this challenge?
A lot of
Watch
type A
this shit.
people.
Yeah. So you were digging it. So you dug the culture, you got into it. And so you start like they all start. And because Alan's told me this too, you were moving cars.
Washing cars in a suit, getting your tie sucked into the vacuum cleaner.
Okay, so it's worse than Ty, the vacuum cleaner. We used to have these guys called Sunshine Boys, and they were retirees. They would just do nothing but move cars for us. And I watched one guy get his tie sucked in a paper shredder, and it literally lifted off the trash can and sucked towards his neck, and we were all like, "Die!" They like unplugged the next day. So like, yeah,
Were you laughing or concerned?
all the above. Yeah, a lot of my answers today will be all the above.
That is hilarious. I mean, the mental image of that one is right out of Office Space, right? You're thinking, here he goes. He's got the safer in one hand. The tie's getting sucked in.
Truth.
And it's starting to go to his neck. You're like, oh my God, Norm's going to die.
Truth.
Norm! Nobody, don't let Norm die. All right. So obviously that's shooting your brain. Don't worry. There's counseling for that. Actually, I know a great one. Her name is Cristi. She could help you out with that. So, all right. So you keep moving up. So obviously and we talked about this, and I shouldn't say obviously. Let's go back. You didn't know this. The listeners don't know this, but you became very successful in enterprise. You moved up the ladder just like Alan. How did that go?
Wow. So, so we talked about it in the last episode a little bit. Like the struggle is the way, right? Like if you go back to like the Stoics, right? And so I was in Jacksonville, Florida, and then left to go to Atlanta. It took a demotion. I had to get closer to family. I had some family here, family concerns, and so that struggle taught me a lot. And maybe that'll help me in the future. Who knows? But so I took that demotion and worked my way right back up. I knew the system. Like any other company, if you know the system, you can do it. The only differential is how quality the people are. And so, gosh, I get back to Atlanta, and this guy Alan with really big size 14 shoes, maybe size 20 shoes. He came in and got promoted from Oregon, and I was like, I can aspire to be that guy. Like that's the guy I want to follow.
I wasn't exactly, that hard to surpass. I mean, mentally, it's like, oh, he can get there. I can.
Oh, please.
Oh, come on.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Okay.
People
Can
seriously.
I jump in?
All right. She's had enough.
Okay.
Christy's coming in.
Story of my life. Can I talk about
I hear a lot of
Cristi.
stories about Alan taking Michael and the crew on like a lot of fun excursions and I don't know, fun events that
It is true. He's
there
the
was
only
not a
person.
lot of fun.
The only person I
too.
ever had Waffle House 3 times in 24 hours. That is true.
We worked hard, and then when we did well, we played hard. We celebrated.
So you guys need fun, Alan, and I only have get off my lawn.
If you would take
Yes.
a dolphin on your course, maybe you'd get to know fun.
He's not salty at all. He's not over it at all.
Did we really get to Waffle House 3 times on that trip?
Yeah, and I don't even. I don't know. I don't.
It was the
see
sales rewards thing that we went to Biloxi, right? And
right after 9/11.
was this when we went to the Georgia Tech game?
Yeah, and we started cheering against Georgia Tech.
And we went to Waffle. I did not. And then we had Waffle House before.
How dare you?
I stand corrected. Technically, I said corrected for the audience here that's not watching us. We went to the varsity after tailgating, then to Georgia Tech, then to Waffle House, and then dropped into another Waffle House in Mississippi.
Wow.
So it was well, you can imagine. Yeah.
That must have been a fun card to be in. You'll see.
Yeah.
Varsity, Waffle House, and
True
keep the-
Southerner. True Southerner.
keep the windows rolled up, boys. Oh, this smells really good. Oh, Dutch oven. Can't say that. All right, let's keep going. Team building. All right. So your idol Alan takes you to the varsity,
Well,
Waffle
that's a little
House.
strong. I always feel a little strong. I'm going to be honest, but
I'm a big ass either.
Yes, you are. So many
again,
things out.
for the listeners at home, don't picture Alan's ass. So, but I would say that one of the things that totally I subscribed to right after meeting Alan was work for somebody because you don't want to disappoint them. And at the same time, that person's probably going to throw a chair on the court like Bobby Knight. And just know that could happen. It never will happen, but
That was one of my little sayings.
I was a little sad.
So for people unlike you, Chris, who tend to be just sort of nice and just kind of hoping that people do a good job because they're supposed to,
That's exactly
what?
right?
I just
Every once in a while,
I hope everybody does a great
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
And I
if you're
when they
like,
mess up, I'm like, it's okay.
if you tend to be a nice and optimistic and kind of person, every once in a while you just got to chuck a chair across the court like Bobby Knight just to let them know that you can't.
Truth.
So I'm more Bobby Knight than anybody in this table. I'm convinced of that. And I have 4 dead trash cans and one that still sits in my office just so everybody know exactly what I can do to a trash can. Yeah, and he's the last metal one that made it. Yeah, the other ones didn't make it.
Honestly,
So the other couldn't make it. Yeah, but I tell you what though, I don't think anybody can keep a trash can for the market.
really, trash can Olympics.
And we're not shit. And I still have the welts on my shins to prove that the car doesn't move when you kick it. Yeah, but everybody watched me do that too in the office. But we digress. Let's go back to what I was saying. And let's talk about how nice managers do this. All right, so obviously you had a great run.
Yep.
You said, Enterprise, hey, I got to move back to Atlanta. You move.
Yep.
You go there. You meet this awesome guy over here, the big ass idol.
How to go.
And you keep rolling and you continue to have success. And then when did you decide to say, all right, I'm done?
Wow. So interesting. So just kick me off the mic if I'm go too long here. But so I worked at Enterprise for a while, mostly working in South DeKalb, which is kind of ironic, right? And so there's mostly 90% African American folks, and God really taught me patience there. And so my next gig was Kindercare Learning Centers, which is not hardcore retail, and I worked with 90% females. And so I think that's like part of my path to success is learning patience, right? Learning to be different than you, learning what it takes to kind of set your knowledge and your experience aside and learn something new. And so that was the step that kind of got me back to the next step is when Alan and I reunited the band and franchising. And those experiences were fantastic. Really, really, really fantastic.
All right, so you left. You did. You stayed in South DeKalb. You did Kindercare.
Yep.
However, somewhere along the line, you ended up in Arizona.
Yeah.
Was that a human trafficking thing?
No, could be.
Was that? How did you know? I never heard that story.
I heard 120 kids got busted.
Yeah, I'm going to set that one aside.
All right.
Well, I think we put a pin in that one. That's episode 3 that won't air. Yeah. So
away the rest of the bottle isn't.
All right. Thank you. And it's about to get really juicy.
I'm sure there's 124 proof. But so I went to Kindercare partly because
I'm saluting.
There's a weird thing. There's a side conversation going on in front of me that I can't hear.
You know the worst part is that most people driving in their cars can't hear that anyway, and all they hear is this whisper background bullshit noise. And
I thought that was Cristi.
And then they usually message me and let me know how bad the sound was. Alan. So continuing on.
So Kindercare at the time was recruiting a bunch of people from Enterprise. And they were looking to change the environment of promoting teachers to management to learning to like, hey, maybe there's somebody else that knows the sales culture, business to consumer a little bit better. And so they were changing the culture of Kindercare. So there was, I joined like 7 or 8. One of them you worked with.
You had these people move over from Enterprise to buy into a Kindercare franchise.
No, not franchise. Just it was a corporate store. So they were all corporate stores. We were all area regional managers. Yep.
Oh, I did not know that. Yep. Okay, so you knowingly moved over to help snotty-nosed kids. Snotty-nosed kids. My kids went to him.
I remember him telling me, he goes, it's kind of the same thing. We have the same metrics, except for instead of our financials being based on a per car basis, it's a per kid basis.
A little bit, yeah.
But there's a huge difference. And this is a horrible story, but like in one of the centers, there was a child who died.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We've had
Best day of my life.
We had some horrible things happen at Enterprise where people were gunned down in our vehicles, or they were the official rental car company of the Flayers Ball in Atlanta, and so it was just all kinds of crazy stuff. But then when he told me that story about I've had a lot of customer service difficult phone calls, not that.
That was tough,
Getting
man.
the phone call somebody passes away in your center, it's a long day.
That's a low light.
Yep.
Right?
It is what it is. Yep.
Yeah, that's tough. All right. So thank you, Alan. We're now let's get back up.
Yeah.
So you came out of it.
Mhm.
So
We're out of bourbon, and I hit a bummer. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I mean, it's a big deal, and I mean, it's a testament to him that, I mean, because I could see in enterprise, I mean, we could handle almost anything customer service wise, but we were still kind of like chipper and, oh, hey, no problem, I'll take care of that. You know, that kind of a mindset. You can't have that when somebody's child just died, and it wasn't because anything that happened. It was a
True, but the common thread was obsessed over the customer experience.
oh, here we go, Alan. Let's obsess over the customer experience.
No,
But it's true.
It's true.
Because you talked about that, you know, and again, your wife who got to see the worst of the worst, and you had this happen to you, and that's a low light. I mean, it's tough. Anytime something tough hits you like that, but if you think about the customer experience, there's nothing you guys could have done or prevented potentially. I don't know, but it's not even getting to that.
Nope.
Now you have to deal with it because it is what it is at this point. And now, which is a phrase I hate, you still need to go after it, and you still need to go solve that problem and figure out what the next steps are.
True.
So you go do all that. You work through Kindercare.
Yep.
I want to keep arcing to find out when did you leave Kindercare?
Oh, hold on. Before you get there, I want to say one thing.
Oh, boy.
No, but because
Hold on 1 minute.
Michael,
I'm going to use that. That's going to be the name of this. Hold on 1 minute.
hold on a minute. I need to say something. No, but Michael had talked about like now that he works with primarily women, and that was when him and I met, and that was a big conversation that we had because I worked with mostly men, and at the time he was working with mostly women, and it was an interesting discussion that we had actually when we met because we were like, I think that helps us get along
1,000%.
because he was used to dealing with women and
You're still harder
and
than
women,
80%
and I was used to dealing with women.
I,
But
You know,
it was just an interesting
what's that?
dynamic, and it was an interesting time
Oh,
in our lives for us to meet each other when where we were in our lives at the time and what professional position we were in our lives as well.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. But anyway,
Yeah.
okay, I digress. Go ahead.
no, you did not
gotta
digress.
show
That was
that.
good.
That's true.
So-
I'm talking.
You know what I love, and we're gonna hold that one later. Is that you're the hardest one I've ever had to work with. You went into business with. So let's continue on to what we call this. This is the masochism episode.
The story
Right.
arc, we will bring it home. I promise.
We're gonna bring this all
Yeah.
home. It's kind of like How I Met Your Mother. We're gonna bring it all back home.
Oh,
He doesn't know that.
Oh,
Oh, that's
thank
true.
you. Thank you. All right.
in a major way.
Oh wow, beautiful. Let's continue. Back to Kindercare, and let's get off the killing kids. All
Yep.
right. Or
Yeah.
Hello.
well, it's still. I mean, it's tough. I mean,
Chris,
you're talking about-
the trustedtoolbox.com.
for all your hate mail, right there. Let me tell you about this, and especially if you think the drywall's bad, just wait, because I've had people act like I killed their kid over bad drywall jobs.
You're just leaning into this, aren't you?
I am. So let's continue on. All right, back to Kindercare. Let's move.
the whole. Come on.
Look, how about drywall in your kitten in the wall, which
That
was
was
a
a good story.
kid story. All right, another episode. Okay, so you leave Kindercare. Now what? What are you doing?
Well, so we got the band back together. So I went into franchising with Big Al, and which is so interesting because every company I worked for really had strong brand standards. Didn't really know what that meant until joining franchising, and what that everybody has to work to a brand standard, and you have to enforce that. That was fun, except with employees, you could hire them, you can fire them, you can promote them, you can demote them, you can bonus them, you can dot pay. And with franchisees, as Alan explained to me rather quickly, you got to influence. And so that was a very, very interesting step in my life. How to influence people that I knew how to do, but didn't rely on.
Because you couldn't control, you couldn't command and control.
Right.
Again, back to Cristi and her background, military. You get an order, you do not.
Cristi had a gun. Chris, what's the order?
True
Cristi?
that.
Christy still has a gun.
I love that.
By the way, she might have a gun on her right now.
Uh,
She kind of does. Did you hear that?
I know.
You
I
didn't,
got a little nervous already.
you never
So-
went over her everyday carry. It's like a 45 compact and metal straw. But let's move on.
Okay, yeah.
Michael actually made a head for it. Did you not make that headboard?
Yeah. With
Yes, with the
yeah,
Secret compartment for
for
the.
both our guns. Yeah.
For both our guys.
Yeah.
Do you have what it takes to start your own business? Are you tired of the 9-to-5 corporate job and ready to make that leap into entrepreneurship? Then you need to check out From the Zoo to the Wild, the new book by successful entrepreneur Cristi. This book is a unique perspective on the journey into the wild world of home services and delivering excellence in service while working in customers' homes. Lalamiya shares his path to success in this industry, including proven customer relationship strategies, award-winning customer experience processes, and a unique approach to training a team of service technicians to perform at the highest levels. Whether you're a small business trying to scale or a franchise operation, From the Zoo to the Wild will give you the mindset, habits, leadership style, and customer-oriented processes to succeed as a small business owner in the home services space. So if you're ready to take control of your future, get your copy of From the Zoo to the Wild today, available on Amazon.
By the bed.
Why not?
Where you sleep.
Yes.
Let's go back real quick. Why Chris doesn't have any guns in his house? Because I would not be the first one to use them. And
Yeah,
and I'm not putting the other
For his
one.
own self-interest, yes.
There's no way I'm putting it anywhere near the other one.
I hear you.
If you know what I'm saying?
Deal.
What?
Do you want
Let me tell you.
Do you want to tell the story about the unfortunate Amazon delivery guy?
Oh no.
No.
Okay.
No. First of all, this segment's about me,
Back to
Cristi,
Michael.
and second of all, Cristi got in a lot of trouble. Because I was too honest.
Back to
She
Michael.
did ask if he wanted some water.
Did his arm heal after you winged it?
Fine.
But water
Yeah.
solves everything. Water solves everything.
All right.
Okay, let's move on. So, yes,
reference it.
we got the band
I'm
back
Big Al,
together.
working for him. And you're right. People think, hey, I'm going to go buy a business. I'm going to go
That's the
buy a
first time I've
franchise.
been flipped off by somebody other than Chris on this podcast.
And I hate that I missed.
I did flip Chris.
No, Cristi. Yeah.
Oh, of course
Yes.
she did. She did double bird.
No, I just double.
She double bird you.
That's 3 birds so far.
Winstone.
Right. That's a great one. All right, let's go. So franchising, you realize now I'm dealing with South DeKalb, Atlanta. I'm dealing with women. Now I'm dealing with franchisees. Clearly, I hate myself. I don't like working with people that are fun to work with because franchisees, they sound so happy. They're like, oh, yes, I can't wait to do this. Oh, I'm going to do this. And you go, hey, you're not doing it the right way. Oh, yeah, but I'm so much smarter than you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting the results I want. So can I have my money back?
Well, I want to just interject. I think what Michael's point is that he had a lot of experience working with people who were not like him. And as a result, he had to learn to take a step back and listen to people and hear where they're coming from. And it helped him be better at what he was doing.
1,000%. I mean, you gotta.
Thank you, Alan, for being honest.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we coming.
Or he could grab his gun. Or grab Christie's gun. I don't know. Somebody's gun. I don't know. Let's go. What can you talk now?
I'm pretty speak at this point, but yeah, no, absolutely. So we got the band back together. We're working at our first franchise together, or as a franchisor. Sorry, boom boom.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I cut my teeth in franchising. And so it was interesting. Like, why did I get into it? I wanted to work with you. Obviously, that was cool. It didn't work Saturdays and Sundays. That was very good.
We have so much fun.
We had a ton of fun. But the best story of that is I told my boss, which I still call her boss.
Mm-hmm.
Can I mention her name? I won't. Boss. Fantastic. And she was like, hey, when do you want to start? I'm like, well, I've got like a vacation plan. Do you mind if I take the vacation somewhere in the middle of my first 3 months? She's like, yeah, not a problem. And I'll shoot an email of the dates. Great. My first day at work, she's like, hey, where are those dates you're taking off? I'm like, 27 days in June.
Trip to Africa.
Do what?
What the Africa?
Son, are you shitting me right now? As a small business owner, if when you hire a real estate agent to work underneath you,
Oh,
when they
I
say
say
that,
questions.
what'd you learn from that? Yeah, and when you say millennial, I don't know, take 27 days off. Yeah, you need 2.7.
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
And
gonna
we
cut
still
that
laugh about that, but like, hey, I sent you an email, you approved it, you didn't read it. Oops. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's where we went.
All right. So we keep going that way. You work in the franchising world. You work in another a bunch of franchising concepts. Continuing sharpening the skills, figuring out what's going on.
So I left that organization. I went to an organization that actually puts people in a position to make career options, right? Career choices. And it was a franchising concept around franchising in a weird way. Like there are people that are, hate their boss, hate their job, want more money, want more time off, got laid off. And so our franchising concept was essentially how do we be career advocates for them and help them make choices in a coaching way, which was fantastic, right up my alley. Like how do we coach people into making the best choice? And often enough, that choice was franchising. Sometimes it was getting hooked up with a recruiter. Sometimes it was staying in their job. Sometimes they could find their own job. Sometimes it was, just stop working. You're where you're where you need to be.
It must have been super rewarding for you to be able to do that at the time. I mean, with all your career experience and everything.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And of course, you can see your motivation, again, is not about just trying to get that almighty buck and getting the franchise consultant fee if they get placed, but you're trying to help somebody really truly find a good place.
Absolutely. And that was fantastic. And, I'm going to try to connect the dots here back to the last episode, but, when Cristi made that big change and when I made the big change, one of the things that we looked at is goals are super important. And, I don't know if Cristi realized that, but when she talks about making more money, and it was about her having self-worth. It was also, what is the money going to do for her, right? It's going to have her move to a mountain town. It was going to have her retire early. It was going to have her provide, college for the kids. It was more about the purpose of the money than actually the money. And so that was one of the things that working, when you coach people, the goals are probably the most important thing. Really, like that will really pull you through difficult times and it'll pull you towards great times.
That's a great, I mean, honestly, man, that is deep thought right there. And I'm going to make it undeep real quick, but it's,
Fair enough.
yeah, but it's like the Nick Saban, when he got his teams together at Alabama, which I hate Alabama,
But you got to respect it.
but you got to respect this, is that he did not say, gentlemen, our goal this year is to win the national championship. Never, ever said that, ever. He always talked about your goals, your intermediate goals, your short-term goals, because that's the other thing. I'm training another guy at my office in sales, and I'm like, hey, look, these are the estimates you got to write. I said, you're going to write them down on a piece of paper. I said, when you write one and send it, you check the box. I said, and when you check 4 of those 5, then we're done. I said, and you're going to feel better about yourself. And then what that's going to do? What that's going to do is a 100% commission guy at the end of the month, you're going to make more money. I said, but you can't sit there and go, oh, I can't make money. Oh, I got to make money. Oh, it's all about the money. When you guys don't know, it's about returning that phone call. It's about doing that showing on Saturday when you're not supposed to.
Yep.
It's about doing the networking, about taking that time throughout the week to build that business and do the business development goals. I love that line. Yeah. All right. Where do you want to go? I know where I want to go. So I want to fast forward to this. So you
do that, Michael?
he didn't know.
Enough about me. Let's talk more about me.
Please. Back to me.
No, it was more about less me and more him.
Thank you. You know what? I like Michael. I have an opening as my podcast guest host.
You know what? Hey, Michael, why don't you come golf on my golf course here?
No, but we have to go home on a way.
Between you and me, you're definitely golfing here, and Cristi's invited.
Yeah. She's a 30 handicap, not too bad.
Yeah.
Let's see.
She's a 20 on the.
This is going to be your 4th.
There's never a 4th. We always play 3. I always play 3. I don't know. I always think 3 people. Okay, fine. All right. So we're coming to the end. I want to talk about this. So you decided to make it ultimately. You have a great partner. Clearly, you guys get along so well. You can see the chemistry is there. And now you guys are going to start a real estate agency in Blue Ridge, Georgia. So let's go back to it. Plug it again because this is the 2nd episode.
True Blue Mountain Group.
Oh, we got it right. Thank you. I just want to make sure we had it
I
right.
plug the phone number, but we're not.
So,
Stop.
all right. So you're jumping in. You're like, you know what? I'm going to get in. And now what?
I don't know if I can know. I'm going to backpedal you a little bit. Why did we do it? Like, honestly, we sat down about a year ago and we're like, what do we really want to do? Like, we've always been successful when goals in front of us. Like, we have paid off all our debt, then we're going to build a house, and we're going to do that house, we're going to turn it into an Airbnb, then we're going to go to the mountains. We set for a year with no goals. no goals. And it was a period of time we were just lost, right? It was like, well, we've got everything we want.
I had to become a real estate agent.
No, well,
Yeah, not like
But
big goals. Like they were like that was a survival goal.
It was a survivor goal. And then like, but you know what? We want more. And so we set it down. It was like the corporate job just didn't fulfill the goals. Not from income, not from lifestyle, wealth, equity. We just didn't get what we really needed. And so like I've been coaching people into entrepreneurship for 5.5 years. I think I need to do it. My goals were that big. And so the corporate world just didn't do it.
So
It's great for some people.
you're making a leap for the first time in your life. You're making a leap.
blind leap.
Right. So this is tough, right? Because who had healthcare?
Neither one of us.
Well, not now.
That's my project for next week. Episode 3.4.
Actually, we got a good guy. We've had him on, Brian Hill.
Yeah.
I use it.
I told Michael about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've got a guy in Blue Ridge here.
Yeah, we do.
Do they?
He's a broker in Georgia. We'll figure it out.
I know they
Hip Nation.
Hip Nation is it? Yeah.
I listened to that episode.
Yeah, with Brian Hill, amazing. But he's
Super
basically
amazing.
he blew the roof off of healthcare, and I mean, the more people hear about him, the more he's going to get.
You did it, right?
I did. I'm on it.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, my whole family's on it, and Sydney, who's in Asheville, North Carolina, there's a primary care up there too.
Nice.
Yeah, that just happened. But anyway, let's go back to you guys. So you guys are here. We go. So you taking the lead. Do you feel like you have a safety net? Do you feel like you have an opt out, or do you feel like this is it, man? Shit's in the middle.
All in.
Let's see. So all the ships were burned, I would say, right? We have no plan B. We went into it with no plan B, right? No backup plans. We have to make this one work. I mean, certainly there could be a plan B, and there's certainly, we've just never really discussed it as like, we could do this. This has to work.
Well, I mean, we're all in. I mean, we could sell everything, move back to Phoenix, and start over. Like,
Why?
I mean, but that's not. We love it here.
Just fulfill our why.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't fulfill our why. Like, as far as moving forward, this is our all in. We're all in. We don't have a backup.
All right, so let me ask you guys
being
a different
successful in
question.
moving forward. We could go back.
So right, so I get we can go back. Does that make you feel better that you know you could always fall back, or do you feel like at this stage in life, even if everything just goes to total shit,
I mean, we know we can pay our bills and we have a place to live.
Yeah, but
that part. To me, at least, I know we wouldn't be like homeless and not have.
But I think most importantly, Cristi, is like where we want to go is so important to us. Like our why is so defined, our goals are defined. Like when we think about it, I know what that looks like. I know what that tastes like. I know what that feels like. It's so compelling.
It's not fulfilling to think about going back. It's just
not fulfilling.
The only safety net is that we wouldn't be homeless.
So,
but it's not a fulfilling.
You know, people have asked me this too, because when I took the leap and I jumped, and Alan did the same. I said, you know what made me feel better is that I was 37, and even if it totally freaking failed, I could pick myself back up and go find a job at 42 or 40. Now here I am, a lot older than that, 17.
Way older.
Well, so I'm unemployable at this point.
You look pretty good.
Thank you for 72. So the point is that now, you know, when I look at it and go, you know, failure is not an option. You know, you look back on that mission, and I love spades, by the way, so I won't even get into that. But did that help you, or did was that never even part of your thought process? And jumping,
I mean, there is a Walmart in Blue Ridge. I could be a greeter. Sorry.
I've jumped at that Walmart. I've been to that Walmart. I've never seen so many pajamas that should not be up.
Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I saw that here in Johns Creek. So it is what it is. Let's move along with that conversation. But no, I honestly think there's no turning back. I mean, I can't trade dollars for time, right? We both need to determine how much we need to work, how much money we need to make, where we work, how we work, to find our own success. And I think that is compelling. That in itself is compelling, let alone to the personal goals we have. Like, I just couldn't think about going back to being limited.
No, I love where you guys are going, and I think up in that area is great. So talk to us about, so you've jumped in. What have you done to ignite the group? What are we doing? What are you doing to get this? So you got a 4-person team. You are we got 2 of the 4-person team. Upbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Blue Mountain.
Blue Mountain Group. Yeah.
Blue Man Group.
No, Alan.
I was drums. So,
Steve with us, Alan.
and so it's very interesting. So like, I'm an ops guy, and so easily it's how do we develop the operational procedures for the company? It's everybody knows that we got to do that. We're going to be obsessed through the client experience. I mentioned that. I feel a little bit like herding cats in the nicest way possible because we have people that. I mean,
She has it going.
yeah, well, no, but everybody on our team has a GSD hat. We get shit done, and right, but everybody that's been successful on our team has muscled it.
What a great line.
Right, they've muscled.
GSD.
Yeah,
I'm gonna actually get that badge.
yeah.
I'm gonna put that next to my
GSD
Phoenix.
badge.
I'm gonna put that next to my
Throw
Phoenix
a
PD.
little red meat to the host.
Not gonna lie. I put the Phoenix PD and the GSD on,
Yeah,
on the
GSD.
sleeves from now on.
But a nice trucker hat too. You can't just do like a
Oh, I should have to get some merch.
Yeah.
I'll get you guys merch.
Yeah.
We got some great trucker hats.
yeah. But honestly, it's like herding cats a little bit, but at the same time, it's so fulfilling because people that are really good at what they do could forget about operations.
So, an incredible, great point. That's why I'm just dying because Christy's over there rolling her eyes to that idea, but I'm in the sales.
She is not.
I am. Oh, she is not.
She's batting her eyelashes.
She's
Oh,
going. You know what she's saying? She goes, Michael, you're so awesome. You're right. You are my big Al idol. Anyway, but the operational process, that's what creates that great customer experience, right? Is that repeatable process that that when you go to your group for a transaction, you're going to get this, this, and this. And at the end, you're going to get the outcome. you
Who's our
expect.
winning personality?
Of course it was. Not the process at all.
No, it is.
Well,
If
this
you
must be fun.
obsess- if you
This
obsess-
must be so much fun to have.
if you listen, we banter all day. It makes us go to sleep well at night. There's nothing left over at that point. But we obsess over the operational process so that I'll get lost to it because like Christy's batting her eyelashes at me again. She's like, "Oh, I'm so pretty over here." So, but no, so the people that do what they need to do can like do it at a high level. And when you have good processes, the only mistake you can have is have wrong people in your group.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I
People
think
equation.
you guys are on it. I just love that part because I've said that a lot here at the Trusted Toolbox. We've done 15,000 jobs over the 17 years, and we've done $2,500 jobs last year. I tell anybody who joins our company, I'm like, look, when you guys go do a job and 40% of your business will be coming from repeat business, is that somebody followed our process that set them up for success to finish the job correctly. So the customer experience was a rating where they went, oh my God, I can't wait to give you a 5-star review, give you a tip, and call you back for more work. And in your case, transactions aren't as quickly done and transacted as you guys, but the process is so important. And I think that's the big differentiator. A lot of people will go, well, I'm going to go with her because she's in my church. Or I'm going to go with him because my son said that he knows what she is doing. Do what? This is the biggest value in your
Yeah.
for a lot of us. This is our biggest personal investment. Now, I don't know what's happened in Blue Ridge if these are second homes or first homes, but I got to believe there's still a pretty big transaction.
Yeah, I don't think it matters if it's your first home or second home. It's still a huge purchase.
Yeah,
It's a lot of money.
1,000%. And our processes, so funny. Our processes are all around us. What's convenient for us? What's good for us? But then in person, we've talked about that so much. Like, how do we change the sales culture language from like it's a deal to like, hey, we help the family achieve a goal. What's your goal for next year? Or we want to sell 200 ounces next year. No, we want to have 200 families happy. Little things like that process alone of being client focused rather than us focused. And it's funny. Last night we sat at a table with 7 other realtors.
Yeah,
all of them had the same they all had the same philosophy. They all wanted to invest in Blue Ridge. It was all about the client. It was all about the customer. It wasn't about what's good for them.
So how do you differentiate?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I would say if you had 7 others that weren't with you that were there, I know I would.
They'd be in a ditch.
It would be. There's no way they're getting out of that
Leave
place.
them with the fishes.
There's no way to get on that place alive. I mean, I don't have a gun, but I have other ways.
You got to be consistent and you got to deliver.
consistency, and
Yeah, but how are you? Are you doing any advertising?
No.
So
not yet. But
No.
I think,
Client
it's heavy referrals, and I think it's the honesty and the direct client experience and the honesty that we're and it's very heavy referral right now.
Yeah, and it's very interesting how many of our clients come from other clients. Like for instance, the police officer that you were talking about, Kim, right? She's referred us 4 clients. She trusts you. She trusts that other law enforcement people are going to feel like, oh, they're not going to get hanky. They're really comfortable with our experience.
So, Alan, this is where we're going to help them.
Uh-oh.
That's right. Referrals are not the way to grow your business. While it is a great component, there are other things we need to do, right? So let's do some other things. So you just said, I'm interested in the police department and I give back. And so I happen to know the Blue Ridge Police Department for totally different reasons.
Why is that?
But
I'll eat 'em.
But
How fast were you going?
but now that I
were you
now,
thinking?
now that I know, I would have got out of that one. But how about a luncheon for the Blue, right?
Oh,
Doing things and giving back. But then up there in a small town community, what are ways you guys could advertise that would help other people think about it? Because I had a lot of single handymen who go, Chris, I'm just built on referrals. I'm like, listen, bro, you can only do so many friends and family. And eventually, especially in tough times, you need to have that bigger base. And so that's why I've always put 4% into advertising here in Atlanta. But again, I'm always been in this growth mode.
Mhm.
What did we
And-
do yesterday, Cristi? Yesterday. Oh my God.
They're so good on a podcast.
No. Hey, Cristi.
You don't
Yesterday.
when they're looking at
So
each
yesterday
other.
we spent the
Oh.
entire day with Habitat for
Yeah.
Humanity.
Nice.
It was a long day.
It's a long day yesterday, Habitat for Humanity. And so eventually people are like, why are you here? We're just helping you. Just helping you. That's all
Yeah.
we're doing. But then the question is asked, more questions asked, and eventually they're like, well, what do you do? Like, oh, we're with Keller Williams. And this is our day of giving. This is what we're doing. We don't force it. People will ask questions. You show up. They want to know why you're always present. They want to know why you're always volunteering. People ask questions.
Yeah, back to the other one. I've heard this great phrase called the Alabama leg hump. You never said Alabama to me. You always said
I never did say
Alabama leg humper.
I always use leg hump.
Leg hump.
But I have used that line so many times. But you're right. If you're sitting there and they go, why are you here? Oh, well, as a matter of fact, I'm a real estate agent. So can I help you sell your house?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
That's like LinkedIn, those messages that we all get that
Yeah.
say, hey, do you need help with your digital media? Hey, I just really enjoyed your podcast episode with XYZ. I would like to know if you need some help with your financials. I mean, come on, man. I mean, come on. I mean, yeah, I can do that. That's where a personal connection comes in. Real estate agents, totally a personal connection. But in a small town, I was interested because I think a lot of people need to know what can you do in a small town to move the needle besides the networking. Because what you guys are doing, that's a lot of personal time and sweat equity. What are some other things we could be doing?
Well, I would say a huge portion of our clients are people from out of town. So
Sure.
people that are buying a second home or a vacation home,
Or the half
investing.
How do people from Florida know about you?
Yeah,
In Blue Ridge.
I spend a lot of time on social media.
Yeah, we reach out to other real estate teams in Florida.
With real accounts?
Yeah, it's really Johnson.
Really?
That was a whole nother thing.
17
That was
different
extremely
profiles.
traumatic for me to switch from all of my fake undercover
Oh, yeah.
names to my
Turning it
real
on.
name. We didn't even get into that, but I had nightmares for like a month on having to like put my real name on social media.
But it's
That was a whole other
it's just
thing.
as simple as like your instincts. And we didn't get into this, but like the 4 or 5 things you learned as a police officer undercover. So Cristi goes to like a Keller Williams training. There's like 100 agents. And it's online training. She started writing down their names, finding out what offices they worked at, and then she spent the next day just calling them. Contact. Hey, I saw you in the training yesterday. You have any clients who want to work in the mountains, want to live in the mountains? Bingo.
Yeah.
And so you just like you're instinctively you just figured out how to like skip trace that, jump to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Agent referrals.
Major referrals.
I love this. I think as you guys move on again, Beckville, on the air counseling, we talked about doing something like this. If it were me and I were them and I'm trying to coach them, I'm going to coach them right now. I would say I love what you guys are doing networking. However, I still like the social media presence. I like the hashtags going, have you thought about Vacation Blue Ridge? And then here's what the other thing I do. I'd hijack all the Vacation Blue Ridge rental things.
Yeah.
And you start doing the anti on that. And that's the campaigns that work back. I'm talking in code, but if you want to know more about what I'm talking about, Chris at thetrustedtoolbox.com, because I can't code it out because Google's listening. All right, Google. We are
so confused right now.
no, I know, but this is what they know what they got me.
Cristi,
They got me. They got me. I love how you guys are giving back in there. Great community. I think again, it's a small community but yeah, it's a small community where a big community is coming involved, but the big community must be part of the small community. Isn't that an interesting little dynamic? And so that's like vacation towns that people see, seaports and on the Gulf and everywhere around the nation. So here we go. Alan, let's go to the final two questions.
Oh, and I can't wait to hear Michael's answer on this.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy. All right.
By the way, can we just ask one? I need to ask one question of Alan. I know we need to wrap this up. But did you do the one-man bobsled today?
No, I never did.
Does Chris know what the one-man bobsled is?
I
No,
don't think he does.
Okay.
I want to know.
No.
Damn it.
No.
Damn it, Alan. You are hiding something from me.
If
and I
you
need
tune
so
into
much-
the next podcast, Alan will tell.
You know what? And Michael is going to call in and explain what the one-man bobsled is. So
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
I love this. I love this. Hey, guys, go listen, man. Push this thing out, man. Do me a favor. Do Alan a favor. We all want to hear the one-man bobsled. Alan needs.
Alan a favor, buy a building. But anyway, go ahead.
What are your two questions? Bring it.
You ready? All right. So we already asked the book. We've already asked about favorite feature of their home. So we know that. But what we really want to know is that we're so interested in the customer experience. We talked about it because we're kind of customer experience freaks. Are you kidding me right now? Yes, we are. So, Michael.
No. I'm
is-
scared.
What is a customer service pet peeve of yours?
Oh,
I know.
When
I
you
got two.
when
I've got
you
two.
are the customer.
I put two in the same.
Let's go. And you get to get two because
Yes.
we did not let Cristi answer.
Super easy. At a restaurant, the general manager comes up to you and says, "The food's good, right?" A lot of choices there. And then you know he's looking at the next table, like, how many tables do I have to get done in the next hour? Right? That's crazy. But the number one at a restaurant is do not touch my plate without asking. I cannot stand somebody grab my plate and they have it at chest level and they're like, "You're done, right?" I'm like, I don't think so.
All right.
I don't like that.
And a little secret, if through this entire episode, we didn't talk about this, but Michael is an excellent chef. Right?
He is.
And I know, Alan, you love to cook, and I do too. And so you've even said he's excellent. He's an excellent chef, which I trust Alan's judgment completely. So obviously the restaurant, it's always an easy one for us to use, but I use the restaurant analogy so often, even in home repair experiences, because we're contractors. We're allowed to be dirty. We're allowed to be late. We're allowed to, smoke and, take our cigarette and put it on your hardwood floors and then kick your dog. And you still kind of like us because you're like, well.
Well, Alan would like you for kicking the dog.
Right? I know Alan would love you. So, but in restaurants, you got to be on point. If you want to deliver that service, you got to be on point.
This man is French and he wants to sop up every last bit of sauce on his plate with whatever bread left over. And if you take his plate before it's completely licked clean, he will chop your hands.
Love it. I love it.
True that.
He leads in with the true that. All right, Alan, you ready?
Yeah.
I want a DIY nightmare story. Now, Alan and I just don't want regular run of the mill. We want
Emergency services. Dismemberment. Some sort of squirting of bodily fluid, mostly blood.
Hurry. Fire, water, flood something for me, kill something,
We might
rip
have,
your finger off.
squirting and water available here on this one. Shoot, god dang. So my daughter's about to be born, and I thought it'd be like fantastic to install. Oh shit! I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is so stupid. So stupid. I'm going to install like one of those wire racks right above the washer dryer. A simple project. A couple anchors ahead and then on the side. And so I'm like, I'll get the stud finder out. I'll make sure my studs are wrapped. I want any water pipes. That's the hot water, cold water, or where the washer's at. Bingo. Got that nailed. Go to the sidewalls. I'm like, what's going to find a stud? There's can't be any water there, right? Throw a screw in on the exterior wall that faces outside. And wow, that's weird. Like my screw starts weeping. So I back it out and I got a stream of water from one side of the laundry room hitting the other side of the laundry room.
I'm not laughing with.
I don't-
I'm laughing, not laughing at. I'm laughing with. Yes,
So happy.
been there.
And I'm like, that's weird. And so like, well, how do I fix this? So I'm like, well, screw it back in. And so I did. I screwed it back in to stop the water. And then I called a plumber, and he's like, "Oh, it's not good." And I'm like, "Well, no, surely it's not good. It's water." He's like, "No, your entire exterior wall is not insulated." I'm like, "Oh, I was due for a flood anyways. 'Cause that pipe was going to freeze, right?" And so like, there's no insulation in that wall at all. But it turned out to be the pipes that fed the upstairs bathroom. Yeah, I didn't even think they could.
All right. Number one, smartest thing he did was put it back in.
Yes.
You don't
Brilliant.
you don't realize that. So when you shoot a nail through your finger, leave it.
Mhm.
Trust me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I have
That's
a whole bunch of
experience.
those too.
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of nails.
The
in my
hand
fingers.
clamps, right? The hand clamp never works. But when you screw a pipe and hit it and you pull it back out and it starts going, put it right back in and call somebody because it's holding it for as long as it can. I can't tell you how many nails and screws I've seen that have rusted over time. And people are like, who knew? I'm like, I know you didn't know at the time, but you know 20 years later, don't you? Yeah, you do. That's awesome. Guys, we learned something today. We have learned a lot about getting into real estate. No, you've learned a lot about what it takes to get out of the corporate world. You sat there and taught everybody about how smart you were being in the corporate world. And then you get out and you said, you know what? Watch this, because I'm about to go prove you all that I can know how to do it. So get out there and keep doing it. Let's make it happen. We got to go. We're going to be back next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Small Business Safari. Remember, your positive attitude will help you achieve that higher altitude you're looking for in the wild world of small business ownership. And until next time, make it a great day today.